can imagine. Okay, great. Well, I think I'm very lucky guy. I went to China. I moved to China and in 2005 and experienced all this growth in China along 8 years. And I had also the experience to move to the region to see these challenge and to see this change. And I started my journey in the region exactly in Abu Dhabi. I was with the Abu Dhabi government for the Smart City Agenda, and I saw all these work that G42 is doing there in Abu Dhabi and now growing in the region. So Talal, tell us a little bit also about your challenges as a city maker in a very thrilling region. Yeah.
Absolutely, thank you, Renato. And again, echoing my co-panelists, I really appreciate the organizers giving me the opportunity to be here, but what a great event that you guys put together, so congratulations. And it is also similarly my first official commercial travel since COVID, so very lucky to make this the first one. You know, G42, as you mentioned, is a technology powerhouse now here in the UAE, and we're looking increasingly on expanding beyond the UAE. But what we are is essentially a vertically integrated technology conglomerate that's based in Abu Dhabi with global ambitions and reach, and with a very strong ecosystem of partners that we leverage to support the delivery of value-added services. And mainly centered around AI and cloud computing on a very general basis, and with a mission to invent a better every day. But beyond the cliche part of that, I think you can see real life actions demonstrating how we do that and how the digital infrastructure that we've developed is leveraged in order to do that. Genomics being one of them. Our G42 healthcare division is very deep into whole genome sequencing, and we're en route to mapping 1.2 million UAE nationals whole genome sequencing with the help of our friends from NVIDIA in terms of supercomputing and many other technology providers, ONT, Illumina, and BGI. So that's an example of one area where, you know, having the muscle power that G42 bring, and then the brain power in terms of the research capabilities that we have through an AI research institute, can be coupled together and served through the cloud infrastructure that ties it all together. And that's where I sit today, in the G42 cloud business, where we are looking for ways to deliver that value to customers and support the championing of digital transformation across the globe. So when you look at smart cities specifically, it's one area that is ripe for continued disruption and evolution in how you deliver that type of value, because everything typically was scattered. I think with the pandemic, and you mentioned post-pandemic, I think that's kind of thrust us into the position where we're able to now take advantage of creating the value proposition that digitizing everything and having a central repository or a data lake could then yield in terms of value. So that's where we tend to focus. And what we are trying to do increasingly now, and looking at other countries, including Saudi Arabia, where we're planning on establishing a presence and an office over here soon, is take what we've built in terms of a model, in terms of that sovereign cloud architecture and digital infrastructure, and replicate it in different parts of the world with that bespoke type of offering, build, own, operate, transfer, in addition to bringing our ecosystem partners with us to support us on that journey. So that's kind of where we play in that mix.
And the same thing, right? 24 hours, not enough to make everything.
They do call it G24/7 instead of G42 for a reason.
Great. And yeah, well, the next round of questions will be exactly the discussion about the foundational technologies and how this is important to create the basis for our cities. But before, when we talk about technology, we see technology around us, and we identify brands and technology that's easy, makes our lives easier. But there are some technologies that are really everywhere, but sometimes you even don't perceive these. We had this pandemic that has accelerated all the change and accelerated all this process of digitalization. And NVIDIA is a company that has been always there in our houses, in our companies, and I mean, in this fantastic, visualization and trying to make image as real as possible, as much real as possible. And yeah, I think that all these challenges and all these new technologies that we're going to be discussing, like metaverse, is totally related to you, right? Yep. I mean, I think that you are the one that takes care of everything out of the scenes. So a fantastic Hollywood movie happens because there is a great technology and team in the back. So how's it? Who are you and what are you doing in these, transforming our cities?
Renato, thank you. Or obrigado in Portuguese.
It's my...
Thank you very much. I'm Jaap Zuiderveld, responsible for the EMEA region, that's Europe, Middle East and Africa. We as a team, what we want to accomplish is help you being successful. And let me get a little bit into that. If I look at your daily life today, probably 8 out of 10 times our technology is helping you. When you wake up, take your car, look at your mail, I can tell you that 8 out of 10 times our technology is underlying. We work with our partners to make them successful. And what is really important, and I cannot emphasize that enough, and I've said here today by my colleagues, is that you need to start working together. If you want to make this successful, it's not only the technology you buy, but it's the people. If you are able to work together from an industry perspective, with the government, together with education, if you have the ecosystem working, you can really do a lot of work. Because I believe that the technologies are already there. Today, for example, any airport, you come in Saudi Arabia, they use our technology for crowd, to understand crowds, to validate passports. It's already used. So there's a lot of places where the technology already used, but it's the people who are going to use it. It needs a behavioral change of everybody. And what I found out, countries who are successful are able to work together. And as I have said today also, the more easier it looks for an individual, the better they did the work. That is, because then it's really complicated. If you're able to do it really good, to implement the technology good, the perception of the individual is very good. And that is where we need to focus all on. That's where we need to spend a lot of time in educating the market how to work together. That's my view.